Thank you for joining us. President Bola Tinubu has condemned the latest attack on Zika community in Plateau State's coal districts, which claimed 51 lives, including a family of 8. The assault, which occurred on Monday, left several homes razed and many residents injured, but some still receiving medical attention. According to Wakili Tongwe, the Karl community leader, the attackers invaded the village in the early hours of Monday, firing shots and causing widespread panic. At the time of the attack, Tongwe and a team of vigilantes and security personnel were patrolling a nearby community, unable to immediately respond to the assault. I'm now joined by a retired assistant director at the Department of State Services, who is currently a senior regional security director at GE Global Sub-Saharan Africa, Dennis Amakre. Thank you for giving us your time, Dennis. Amnesty International is already calling on the government to move beyond issuing bland statements and show genuine commitment to protecting lives. But true to form, a statement has been issued condemning the latest attack while charging the governor of Plateau State, Mufwang, to resolve underlying communal issues. The governor and other players, on the other hand, are calling for federal might. Where does that leave us?
Thank you for having me. And you see, this recurring decimal in Plateau State, so to say, is becoming a national embarrassment. Where we have to not identify properly the people that are doing this. Earlier, we had thought that it was herders and farmers that are doing this, but the governor himself has come out to say that there are foreign elements in it, and these foreign elements are not just there because their cattle was rustled, or, for any other reason, but they are grazing and, burning down villages and occupying them. And then, of course, because of minerals that exist in that place, so I think that the security agents have to take more serious attention to it. I'm very happy that the military and the security agencies are, focusing on it. The president himself has shown concern. And I think something has to be done because it is the lives of Nigerians that is being wasted here.
Yeah, but I know, those are the facts on the ground. I'm talking about actions now. On the one hand, the governor is asking for federal might, as well as other key players in this matter. I'm talking about community head, State House Assembly members in Plateau State. And then the federal government is issuing a statement asking the governor to take leadership and address communal issues. This is not the first time we're having issues in Plateau State. In fact, this month alone, at the last count, it's over 100 persons killed brutally. So where does that leave us? Who should be taking action at this stage? In Rivers State, we have a state of emergency. Is that what we should be calling for now? If not, what other actions needs to be taken at this point? And who should be spearheading it?
Well, the governor himself had come out to say that he's really frustrated, and of course he says that the military and the security agents are working together with him to get rid of this. But we are dealing with an armed insurrection. And in that case, like you said, the state of emergency that is in Rivers State, does not really mean much. This is exactly where we need the state of emergency, because there are foreigners trying to, attack Nigerians in our borders. And I think, yes, the next action to be taken should be a serious presence of federal might, and then at the same time, a declaration of a state of emergency in Plateau State.
All right, let me reference your confirmation earlier that, I mean, initially the thought was that this was between herders and farmers, and now the governor has come up to say that this is more like a genocide. Let me see if I have that here, that it's sponsored by terrorists. Though asked a question that I'd like your thought on, and it is a valid question that a lot of persons have speculated about. Who are those humans that are so vile that they terrorize their own people in this manner? What would be the vain gain that justifies this? Is there any idea, perhaps, in your circles, conversations as to who is behind this and what can be done to get them to justice?
I think a lot of suggestions have been made. A lot of suspicions have been made. And I think even the governor came out to say that these people, although he does not want to, mention, make it an ethnic thing, but he said that there are people who are not even speaking any of the Plateau State languages, and they don't even speak Hausa or Fulani or Kanuri. So these are foreigners. And if they are, I think we have to fish them out. Because
is it not curious that conversations like that are allowed in your circles? Because, I mean, frankly, is it possible for a non-indigene who does not understand the language of the community to coordinate in the manner that we see in these communities, enter these communities and massacre families? Is that even possible? I mean, we have vigilantes. The community head did say that they were in another community, so they couldn't reach that community in good time to. Is it possible for foreigners to come into a community and commit such mayhem? Really?
Yes. Because let's take a holistic view of what is happening. Think of what is happening in Borno State. Think about the porous borders that we have, and then through Taraba, which is bordering Plateau State. From Taraba, you have incursions from Cameroon, and then of course, from Borno State, all coming into Plateau State. So yes, there are foreigners that are coming into play. And I think we have to really look at this very strongly, because the original idea of herders, farmers, and stuff like that is not tenable anymore. Right now, we are seeing a situation where they are not just coming and grazing down villages, but they are coming for some other things, because mineral resources. And I think these people must be identified properly and then, of course, dealt with.
All right, before I let you go, I need to push you a little on this subject, because we have a statement from the presidency, and I want to quote a bit from that. It says, "These problems have been with us for more than 2 decades. I have discussed these problems with the governor over time and offered suggestions for lasting peace. But community leaders have warned against negotiating with these killers." So if the presidency is, I mean, from my layman understanding, is putting the bulk on the Plateau State governor, is there hope, to put it brutally?
Yes, I think there should be hope, because I listened to the governor very closely, and the guy needs some help, seriously. And whoever these people are, he has identified them, and the government, I think, should not just say he should handle it. Handling it he can do if it was just 2 ethnic groups fighting each other. But handling it this time is where we have foreign incursion, and then we need that federal might to come into play. So, yes, I think the governor should be listened to at this time.
Dennis, thank you very much for speaking with us. As always, we appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Now, let's take this report done by my colleague on the Plateau community attack. Chizoba Nyowe has it.
It is a feeling of heartbreak, anguish, and hopelessness that these locals woke up to after midnight attacks into communities of Zike and Kimapa. More worrisome is the fact that nothing has been identified as the cause of these renewed attacks by alleged herdsmen.
About 12, after 12, we discover some militiamen known as herdsmen who invaded Zike, Kimapa community in Kol district of Irigwe Chiefdom Bassa local government area. They started shooting, they burnt houses, they macheted people, and as I speak, we have recovered about 51 dead bodies on ground. Fulani herdsmen invaded this community, killed and macheted the Irigwe people. I am telling you, the situation is very disheartening.
I'm just coming from one of the villages, that's Zike, where a lot of corpses are there. In fact, one of the houses, 8 people were killed. The whole family were massacred, the father, the mother, and the children, 8 of them. They are still in their room now. If you go there, you will see. So it is quite unfortunate that this thing is still reoccurring in this state and in this local government. And well, I don't know what is their problem, but there's not anything that triggers this attack as far as I'm concerned.
The youth in these areas have become restive, alleging that security personnel are complicit in the attacks. Another source of concern is that this new attack is coming less than 10 days after the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, and the representative of the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Ebetokun, visited Plateau State, assuring of security in the state. The way out of this situation is what everyone is looking forward to.
What we want to be done, we want justice in Irigwe Chiefdom, and we don't want to see any Fulani man in this community again. Yes. We want them to stop coming and stop attacking them. If not, I said if not, I'm talking as a woman, what the wrath of God will fall upon these Fulani people. We are tired. We are tired with what is happening in our land. We don't want this thing to be repeated again. Enough is enough in Irigwe land. We want peace and we want justice. And what is happening, the government are keeping quiet. We don't know why. Are we not human beings?
We have called on the state government, and in fact, even we have cried even with the federal government to create this police outpost across boundaries to tackle this kind of event. Otherwise, we will keep on counting losses of our people.
Behind me are some of the villagers who are still mourning the sudden demise of their loved ones. However, security operatives are on the ground to ensure that there's no further breakdown of law and order in this community. In Paul district of Bassa local government area of Plateau State for New Central, Chizoba and Nyewe.
Let's cross now live to Chizoba, who has been tracking this report live from the community. Hello, Chizoba. I must say I'm human. I felt goosebumps just listening to those outcry. And, I mean, the mood is obviously downcast. But is there any hope when they allege military involvement?
Thanks for having me, Felicity. Well, all hope is not lost. That's the truth. But for the people to continue to be calm, watching the situation, watching how things are happening, watching who is doing what and who is not doing what, is what should be the concern of many people. And that's the truth. So if it's for hope, yes, there is hope. Like they will always say, once there's life, there's hope, you know. But when these things continue to happen, reoccurring each and every time, especially when it is not expected, that is the one that is killing most people. You know, so pointing fingers at security operatives and whoever out there would not solve the situation. All that the people are asking for is that everything possible is done to fish out these so-called unknown gunmen or the alleged herdsmen. You know, once they are caught, wherever they are, whoever they may be, and then bring them to justice. I think that is the only way these people will be calm. Not to say that they will be happy because they have lost loved ones. You just heard someone telling us earlier that a family of 8 was wiped out. I mean, this is sad.
Yes, it is really, very bad. It is a very, very sad tale. But is there something you might want to add to the report that you couldn't put in it that you think people should also be aware about?
Well, nothing much. It's just that there will be updates, certainly. We just left the government house a while ago where the state governor, Caleb Mutwan, had just briefed the press to say that situation there has come to a calm condition where he had already spoken to the youth to calm down, not to take the laws into their hands, to cause more mayhem, you know, on the people out there.
I'm told we have very limited time. Sorry to interject so quickly, but this is important. The president issued a statement this evening, virtually putting the matter at the doorstep of the governor. How is that being received locally? Has any sentiment been shared on the matter to your hearing or to your understanding?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So the governor is going to make a state broadcast tomorrow morning. And from whatever he says, he just finished with the security chiefs in the state where they discussed detailed security matters, what would have caused the breach in Bassa, and what may be done to forestall further reoccurrence of such incidents. And of course, by tomorrow morning, he's also going to Bassa to see the situation of things there, and of course, put measures in place to ensure that there's no reoccurrence of this, because, I mean, everybody is tired of this reoccurrence for over 2 decades.
Yeah, I was just asking for people's reaction to the federal government's statement. Has there been any, to your knowledge? Aside from the government,
well, to my knowledge, none for now. Not for now, but earlier on, people kept calling for federal government intervention to come to their aid, improve on the security personnel out there on the ground, to have more security posts there, and of course, for them to be equipped, properly equipped, not just to have them on the ground, because according to them, these marauders that keep attacking them have sophisticated arms and ammunition. And so those protecting them should also have something like that, if not the better ones, you know, so that they'll be sure they are safe in their hands.
You've had a long day. I guess you should go catch some rest now. We'll leave you. Thank you very much for the update.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, Benue governor warns that safety of uninvited visitors not guaranteed. Why? Details after the break. The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has dismissed speculations of a possible merger of parties ahead of the 2027 general elections, while lamenting the alarming worsening security situation in Nigeria as evidenced in parts of the country, especially in Plateau, Borno, Katsina and Edo states. The forum also expressed solidarity with Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara following his suspension by the president and a declaration of state of emergency in the state. Tunji Abdul Hamid is a member of the PDP and a legal practitioner. He joins us now for some perspective on the PDP Governors Forum meeting in Ibadan earlier today. Thank you, as always, for being here. I mean, they've made a stance on no coalition. First off, do you expect a turnaround? I mean, this is politics. We might say no today and tomorrow we'll hear something else. And add to that, how does the party plan to strengthen its chaotic internal structures and mobilize without partnering with other parties?
Let me say that the Governors Forum have done well, but at least by coming together to discuss the way forward in the party. But I must also say that the Governors Forum, though one of the strongest stakeholder of the party, because without the governors supporting the party cannot move anywhere. But unfortunately, like I said, the suggestion of what they have said is not conclusive. It's just a suggestion as far as I'm concerned, because the National Convention and the NEC also have the responsibility of either approving or not approving that recommendation. The governors have done well. At least they've charted the way forward in this regard, that they've set the discussion. You see, the coalition movement by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, even though I believe there's need for coalition and probably merger, but the way and manner Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is going about it look like as an individual, I think. Parties are not being carried along, as far as I'm concerned, in the way I see it. Because whenever they go and whenever they're moving, you don't see party executive there, you don't see anybody that represents the party with them. It's only like an individual, I think, which I like to go back is spearheading. So probably that is the reason why the governors have to come together, take position. But like I said earlier on, that position may not be the conclusive decision of the party. The party will still have to meet. When I say party here, I'm talking about the National Convention, although even though they've set aside a date, which is subject to ratification by NEC and the other organs of the party. So, but they've done well, at least. They've set the standard as to how to go out regarding the possible settlement of the issue on ground.
I'm kind of curious, though. I mean, these are governors, and they have a forum. If they don't have any decision-making powers, of what relevance are their commentaries to the press? But let's plow on and talk about the collective decision on what they describe as to avert the rape of the constitutional democracy in Nigeria in regards to the state of emergency declared in Rivers State. They say they are going to court. I need to now confirm, is this a collective move from the PDP or just the Governors Forum asking the Supreme Court to rule on whether the president has that authority to declare a state of emergency within the circumstances that necessitated it?
Before I go into that answer, that question, let me just say that, look, you see, the governors are the owners of the party in quotes. Because without the governors, party cannot move. There must be money. Without money, you cannot move. And the governor, they have the money. So if you see any party that's not moving well, the governors are not cooperating. The PDP is not like APC, where it's a one-man show, where they have the president who directs everything. Even before they became a party in power, that is the way they roll. They don't have. If I ask you now to tell me, apart from the chairman or secretary of the APC and the PRO, you may not even remember any other member of the executive of the party. You can't even remember the BOT chairman of the APC. So PDP is not in that regard. That's why I said the governor may have given their decision, but it's subject to ratification by other organs of the party. And that is the position there. So for me, I think they've taken this right stand. By the governors are the one who are the locus to approach the Supreme Court through the Attorney General, and that's why they have gone to court. So whether or not it's a party affair or not, as long as the governors have agreed to approach the Supreme Court, they have taken the party will definitely be behind them in that regard, because Governor Fubara is a member of the PDP, and the PDP will not be looking at him in that manner. So they've taken the right decision by going to the Supreme Court, because they are the only authority that can go direct to the Supreme Court. A case between the state and the federation can be taken to the Supreme Court direct without starting from the High Court. If an individual is starting that case, that kind of a case, they will start from the High Court. And you know how many years or how many days, how many months it will take to get to the Supreme Court. By the decision of this Attorney Generals of the states, with the support of the governors, I think it's a right step in the right direction. and we can have a earlier resolution of the issue on that. I'm eager to see what the Supreme Court will say regarding the emergency rule and suspension of the governors in Rivers State. Okay, so what PDP's presidential candidate in 2023, Atiku Abubakar, he is a member of the party, if I'm still current, and he has made a strong case for opposition coalition. How do you respond to critics saying this decision contradicts, Atiku's vision for a united opposition and impacts perhaps the party's showing in the 2027 election? There is no serious contradiction here. What they are saying is that rather than march or join another party, they expect other people to come and join them. If you today, despite what PDP is going through, the next major party, that strongest party in the state, in the country, is PDP. So if a strong man will now go and join the young one or little one, they become something else. So they are saying, look, if you want to join us, come and join us. If you want to partner with us, come and partner with us. But it is not PDP that will go and join another party and become a subordinate in that party. Like I said, Alhaji Atiku mean well, but the way and manner, if you notice that the way and manner Alhaji Atiku is going about it, look like an individual thing. I know, yes, he has is a good candidate for it, and the way they are going, it may cause a serious crisis in the future, just like what happened in 2023, wherein we have about 3 candidates who are major members of the party, and where they share votes. If not for the division in the party, just like Mr. Obi, His Excellency contesting under Labour Party, Alhaji Rabi Kwankwaso contesting under NNPP, and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar contesting under PDP. That was what gave the APC the winning votes. And I'm sorry, if care is not taken, we may likely find ourselves in that similar situation as things are going now. So I think we need to come together, look at this issue critically. There is no contradiction here. They are saying the same thing in different language and in different approach. They can come together and resolve it. But like I said, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar need to carry the party along in whatever he's doing if he wants to. This one that happened today, you will see that there's not just one individual. About 10 states are presented. Quickly, I'm totally out of time for this conversation, but I'd like your thoughts on this as a political watcher, public affairs analyst, and a legal practitioner. We have a situation in this country, and the governors did say that there is need. They've condemned what is happening across. We have Benue, we have Plateau, we have Borno, and even Edo State most recently. They've called for a revised national security strategy that empowers state governments to form an effective line of defense. What do you think they mean here, and what is your thoughts on their call? I think if you look at what is happening in the country, you will agree that there's a need for state to also be able to control the security apparatus in their state. Look at what is happening in Plateau State now. For the Plateau State governor to do anything now, he must get in touch with the federal. The president, commander-in-chief, is somewhere in France enjoying or relaxing on a holiday. And then if Inspector General of Police is to get approval from the president, he may likely take a distance. So for me, it is time to have to allow state to have their own control of the security. I think that's a good place to leave it. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you. Let's now bring you the story from Benue. The governor, Hyacinth Elia, says that he cannot guarantee the safety of any individual or group visiting the state without approval from relevant authorities. A statement on Monday by his chief press secretary said anyone planning to visit internally displaced persons IDP camps in the state must first seek approval from the State Emergency Management Agency. The governor warned against visits that could result in political assemblies without prior approval, urging security agencies and the public to take note and maintain peace and order. Although the intended recipients of the governor's message remains unclear, several communities across the board have come under attack, leading to loss of lives and destruction of property.
In Rivers State, women took to the streets in Port Harcourt in a show of support for the declaration of emergency rule by President Bola Tinubu. They are calling for the prosecution of persons behind the arson at the State Assembly complex and a thorough investigation into the Okojumbo-led faction of the Assembly. News Central's Biola Festus has more.
It's another Monday morning, and the streets of Port Harcourt are once again filled with demonstrators.
With the loud sound of music behind me, and of course, those women who are beautifully dressed, gyrating. One would think a party is going on here. But these are women from the 23 local government areas of Rivers State who have come out in procession to appreciate the federal government for the declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State.
Women from all 23 local government areas of Rivers State, under the banner of Rivers Women for Peace and Good Governance, found out in large numbers to show solidarity and appreciation for President Bola Tinubu's decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State.
We want to thank the President for averting the impending danger that was looming on Rivers people. We want to thank the President for bringing us Ibas. We want to thank the President for saving our state from chaos.
If there is problem in Rivers State, as they said, you can't be here. Your station cannot be here. People will not invest in Rivers State. I'm just telling them, let the visitors come. The investors should come.
Holding placards with messages like, Rivers State deserves peace, not Fubara. State of emergency is constitutional, and thank you, President Tinubu, for saving Rivers State. The women demanded a full investigation into the attack on the State Assembly complex.
For over 2 years, the legislature was clamped down. Our House of Assembly was burnt down. We remember our legislators when they now moved to their residence. What happened? That place was also almost demolished. All because of a normal constitutional process called impeachment. Isn't the Constitution? Is it not there? It's there. Are we waiting till when we burn down ourselves? No. Before the President will declare? No.
Dressed in matching white outfits, the women marched from Garrison Roundabout to Isaac Borough Park, closely monitored by police escorts. The women say the peace they have long hoped for has finally arrived, thanks to the emergency rule.
There is no more threat from the militants, no burning of public assets, no tribal war anymore. We can live, we can sleep, and we're enjoying it. The sole administrator is doing a very good job. We love it to the end.
As the procession ended at Isaac Adaka Borough Park in the city center, the women broke into singing, dancing, and gyration before peacefully dispersing. In Rivers, for News Central, I'm Biola Festus.
Outside Nigeria, tensions between Algeria and France are at breaking point after authorities in Algiers expelled 12 French embassy officials on Monday. The order was in response to charges filed in France on Friday against an Algerian consular official accused with 2 other Algerians of taking part in the kidnap of an opposition dissident in the Paris suburb a year ago. French Foreign Minister called on the Algerian authorities to abandon the expulsion measures and warned that if the decision were upheld, France would have no choice but to respond immediately. We have business news after this short break. Stay with us.
Nigeria has formally published and submitted the ECOWAS schedule of tariff offers for trade in goods under the African Continental Free Trade Area to Afcfta Secretariat. This step, taken just before the 16th Council of Ministers meeting on trade, set to take place on April the 15th in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo, represents an advancement in Nigeria's efforts towards trade integration. The published schedule establishes a framework for applying zero tariffs to 90% of tariff lines under the African Continental Free Trade Area, strategically enhancing the accessibility and competitiveness of Nigerian goods in African markets. And the federal government has launched the initial phase of a 400-kilowatt solar photovoltaic power plant at Yobe State University Teaching Hospital in Damaturu. This initiative is part of a larger strategy to decentralize energy access and promote renewable energy solutions across the health sector nationwide. The project aims to significantly reduce power disruptions at the tertiary hospital, enhance healthcare services, lower operational costs, and support environmental sustainability. Furthermore, it sets an example for future renewable energy projects in health and educational institutions across the country. The facility, being implemented in stages, is anticipated to expand from the current 400-kilowatt phase to 1 megawatt in the near future. And coming to the local bourse, we're kicking off the week with sell pressures. We're seeing a moderate decline of 0.03% on the local bourse today. The all-share index, of course, down, market capitalization down as well. We know that the banking sector, that is the significant drag on the market today. It's almost down about 2%, I believe. Industrial goods is flat as well, but that's what we're seeing today across the local bourse. That is Business Tonight. I am Joanna Mustafa. Tonight continues with Felicity.
Sports news is next, and Doka is here.
Thank you very much, Felicity. A lot happening across the world of sports, especially with the passing of a football legend, Christian Chukwu. I'll bring you more details shortly. Now, the Nigeria Football Federation has denied claims circulating on social media that it owed late Super Eagles legend Christian Chukwu $128,000. The NFF General Secretary, Mohammed Sanusi, clarified that there is no official record of any debt owed to Chukwu, who served as head coach between 2002 and 2005. Sanusi referenced a past committee formed under former NFF President Amaju Pinnick, tasked with verifying and settling debts owed to former coaches. He urged anyone with verifiable documentation of outstanding payments to present it, assuring that any legitimate debt would be settled immediately. Chukwu, who captained Nigeria to the 1980 Afcon title, passed away on Saturday in Enugu at the age of 74. Now, the board of the Nigeria Premier Football League has banished Nasarawa United to Gombe State and fined 6 million naira for fans' assault during the match day 2033 MPFL encounter with Plateau United. The statement said that Nasarawa United failed to provide adequate and effective security, resulting in unauthorized persons gaining access to restricted areas and harassing Plateau United and the match officials. Following these breaches, Nasarawa United have been banished to the Pantami Stadium in Gombe State to play their home matches for the rest of the season. Nasarawa United have 48 hours of the date of notice to appeal the sanctions. To age-grade football now, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will begin their quest for an 8th continental title against Tunisia, Kenya and Morocco in Group B of the 2025 Under-20 AFCON in Egypt. The group stage draw conducted on Sunday at the Egyptian Football Association headquarters in Cairo officially signaled the start of the 18th edition of the tournament that has long served as a launchpad for some Africa's finest football talents. Running from the 27th of April to the 18th of May, this year's championship will feature 13 teams divided across 3 groups. Group A with 5 teams, while Group B and C will each include 4. The top 2 teams from each group, along with the top 2 best third-place teams, will progress to the quarterfinals. The 4 semi-finalists will earn qualification for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile, scheduled to take place from September 27th to the 19th of October. And in boxing, the Boxing Promoters Association of Nigeria has unveiled a free healthcare package for Nigerian boxers in partnership with the new Ikeja Hospital. Now, the partnership was formalized in Lagos over the weekend with the signing of an MOU after BPAN executives led by President Omonle Imadu met officials of the medical facility. Now, under the initiative, the hospital will offer one free annual health checkup for 100 boxers, covering blood pressure, blood sugar, hepatitis B, as well as HIV. The medical facility will also provide a 15% discount on advanced medical tests such as MRI, ECG, and kidney function tests. The move comes on the heels of the tragic death of Nigerian light heavyweight Segun Olariwaju during a boxing event in Accra, Ghana. And that's a wrap on Sport Update. I am Udoka.
Entertainment news is next with Sam Dandy. Sam, I hear Portable is in the news again.
I can't believe it, but that's what makes him a controversial musician, I guess.
But he doesn't. Does he have money?
Well, he failed to meet bail, so I guess we'll find out why all that's happening right after this quick break. And now in entertainment, popular Nigerian singer Portable, whose real name is Habib Okikiola Badmus, has been remanded in Ilorin prison after failing to meet the bail conditions set by the magistrate court following his arrest on April the 13th in Abeokuta. The bail set at 1 million naira with 2 sureties was granted after Portable was arraigned on multiple charges, including cyberstalking, defamation, incitement, and public disturbance. The arrest stems from a petition filed by veteran Fuji artist Saheed Osupa, who's of course Okunola Saheed, who accused Portable of criminal defamation, threat to life, character assassination, and conduct likely to breach public peace. The controversy ignited in March when Portable made a scathing post on Instagram calling Osupa big for nothing and making other inflammatory remarks. The Kwara State Police Command confirmed the charges, stating that Portable's actions on social media were under investigation for potentially inciting violence and damaging reputation. As of now, the singer remains in custody pending the fulfillment of his bail conditions. Further court proceedings are expected in the coming days. This one's very interesting because a lot of comments, if you look at people who've reacted to the video, you know, where we see Portable being held back in prison, are shocked to how he can't afford to pay 1 million naira for bail.
I guess, I'm not speaking in his defense, I'm just saying it takes a minute to perfect bail conditions. So perhaps that's, I'm just, you know, let's say this now. Perhaps that's the reason he is unable to get his bail, get out on bail. But however you look at it,
usually, a lot of times like this, when there's controversy, we expect that the musician is trying to put out new music or there's something behind. I guess we'll have to see and find out.
Portable has always been controversial, so I'm not expecting any new music out of this.
All right. On the international scene, Katy Perry and 5 other women made history today as part of Blue Origin's first all-female crew to launch into space aboard the New Shepard rocket. Now, the crew included CBS, morning co-host Gayle King, Jeff Bezos' fiancée and former journalist Lauren Sanchez, ex-NASA scientist Aisha Bowie, civil rights activist Amanda Nguyen, and film producer Kieran Flynn. Now, the brief 10-minute flight launched from Van Horn, Texas, reaching just past the Kármán line, the recognized edge of space, before safely landing in the desert. I mean, everyone, the reactions, the videos, you know, them seeming so excited, relief. Would you make such a move, Felicity, to go to space?
I would, definitely, I would. It's an experience of a lifetime. Not to be sarcastic, but while we're here talking about defamation and petty issues, other artists are doing, you know, things that are consequential, if you ask.
Well, of course, you know, it's relative. Some people are doing great things. Some people want to do small, petty things. As long as everyone admits, like, burnout, you know what? No matter how small the celebration is, just celebrate as a musician.
Publicity is publicity.
Publicity is publicity. That's what they say. That's what they say. Well, that's much we can take on entertainment. I am Sam Dandy.
And that's what we have in the news for you tonight. But before we go, let's take a look at some of our top stories. President Tinubu has condemned the latest attack on Plateau community, where at least 51 persons were killed. PDP governors have met in Ibadan, dismissing coalition talks while throwing weight behind suspended governor of Rivers State. Off our shores, we told you that authorities in Algiers has expelled 12 French embassy officials as diplomatic tensions escalate there. Do send us your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. You can also follow us on all socials at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274. We're on Avo TV and YouTube. Thank you for your kind company. Have a good